Hi, friends. Welcome. It's Lisa Maynard. Nice to see you this evening. I probably jumped on a little late. I'm looking at my watch, and yeah, I was not quite ready. I was getting some other stuff arranged and putting my earphones, my earbuds over there so I don't hear myself talk because that's really, really distracting. So we're going to wait for a couple minutes for people to jump on. Hopefully you can find me on Kit Crush Wednesday, here every week, whether I'm live or recorded live. And we look at the kit collections from Stampin' Up, whether they're kits that you can buy directly from the catalog, or if they're kits that you subscribe to, like Paper Pumpkin. So somebody's jumped on, hit that like button, love, tell me hello, let me know you're watching. And I've seen a few people jump on. So we're going to start. Hi, Vanita. Thanks for joining. This evening, we're going to look at a Paper Pumpkin kit. It was the September one, and it's called Autumn Abundance, and it has some really cute cards. My sister-in-law actually sent Vanita and myself a picture of some cards made, or alternative cards made with this kit, with the Falling Leaves stamp and die bundle, which I don't have. They were gorgeous, but these cards are also equally adorable, and we're going to follow directions in the kit. So with that, I'm going to flip this camera around and we're going to get started, and we're going to show you exactly what's in this kit. And these are so cute and pretty. I mean, they're just very nice cards. So as you can see, we have lots of great colors in these cards, and it's called Autumn Abundance. We've got like a copper foil to them, and some blues and reds and yellows and oranges. Super cute. So this is thinking of you, and we have the matching envelopes, and the inside also is colored. So isn't that really pretty? Then we've got a thank you card because we're thankful it's autumn. Again, with the matching envelopes and the gold or the copper foil. So, and we've got that orangey burnt orange color. I think that's Cajun Craze, which is the stamp color we're going to be using tonight. Okay, I have dogs barking. I apologize. I'm not really sure why they're barking, but hopefully they'll stop barking here in a second. And then this tiny card, well, not tiny, but it's a smaller card. It's 4x4, and sending autumn wishes your way with the cute little what is that? Snail, and the mushrooms and all of those things with a matching envelope and that color inside. So I'm going to set these aside, and I'm going to push them up here a little bit out of the way, but I'm going to, as I'm going to do, because I like the glass mat, but it kind of also leaves a little glare. So you might be able to see those a little bit, but I'm trying to keep those from glaring. So let's go ahead and open this up and see what we have inside. We have, as always, our Cajun Craze. This is the stamp, the ink spot that we're going to be using tonight. Our instructions that always are very, very useful and handy dandy. Pictures, easy to follow, very easy to follow. Our stamp set, if you can tell, I've already used this, and the Cajun Craze kind of stains the stamps a little bit, but it doesn't impede the use of them, and they're just perfectly fine. Then we have the little insert if you would like to store your stamps in a different container. This matches with the stamps, so you know exactly what you have out, what's missing, and what they say. So that's a great addition that they put in. We've got our Stampin' Dimensionals, our little pop-up foam things that add dimension and interest to our cards. Our glue dots right here that we're going to use. And we've got the pieces that we've used and are going to use for our sentiments. And that's one of them. Then we've got the die cut pieces right here and more. I can't get my finger under there. We've got the leaves and the mushrooms and the little snail. And then we have our gold foiled leaf, part of a wreath, and one of the other circles that we're going to use for the sentiment. And then we have our card bases and our envelopes in there. So I'm going to go ahead and stick these aside, And we are going to bring in what we need. I'm going to go ahead and bring in some grid paper, just because if I stamp off on something, it's not going to get on my glass mat, which would be fine, but it just keeps it cleaner, which is great. Love the glass mat, by the way. That's available online. So here we have our parts for our first card. And let me bring these in here. We have all of our little parts and pieces. We have our sentiment that we're going to stamp and the rest of what we're going to do to create this card. So I'm going to go ahead and set those just aside for just a moment and just bring in what we need. And that would be this piece. Now this piece is going to layer behind the opening of the card base front. So we are going to go ahead and stamp on this, and we're going to stamp this lovely sprig design, and we're going to do it in Cajun Craze. So I'm going to go ahead and take the top off of that. I'm going to go onto my stamp rather than into my ink pad, just because it's a little bit easier this way. Then I know that I've got my stamp inked up well, because the stamp is bigger than the little ink spot. So you can do it whichever way you choose. There is no right or wrong way. As always, it's up to you how you want to do it. Now, to gauge where we want this to go, I'm going to lay this on top of this like that. And I know that I want it to show out. So with that being said, I'm just going to kind of keep an eye on where I have that placed. And this is just going to peek through. So there's no right or wrong way of how you stamp this. It's all your personal preference. That's how I gauged how it is. And I left that on there a little bit so it would soak up the ink just a tad. And there you have that little design that's going to peek through our card. Now, since we have our ink out, this is the last time we're going to stamp tonight, because I already prepped the other ones. We're going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment, which is sending autumn wishes your way. Now, I've already adhered my stamp to my block, as I usually do. And if you've watched me before, you know how I do this. However, if you haven't, I line the sentiment up with the grid lines on my paper, and then I put the block on top of the stamp and pick it up. So that's how we do that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and ink up this stamp with our Cajun Craze. Get it nice and inked up here. Now, I've used these before, so they should stamp just fine. But let me tell you a little trick. If you're wondering if your stamp is going to stamp nicely, I just stamp it off on the grid paper and see. And if you want to check to see how straight it is, stamp it on your grid paper and see if it's going to stamp the way you want it to stamp. And that looks pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and ink it up again. That was just a little tip that I wanted to share with you. We like to make it easy for everyone, right? So if we can share our tips and tricks along the way, then that's always useful. Now, again, I line my sentiment piece up with my grid paper, the line on my grid paper, center this over this, and try to keep my head out of the camera. And we're going to line that up, and we're going to set that down and just give it a nice little press. Hold it down there a little bit to let that ink sink into the paper a little bit. And there we go. Sending autumn wishes your way. Lovely sentiment. So let's go ahead and set that aside. We do not need that anymore. We're going to push that to the side a little bit. Bring in our card base. Go ahead and fold it over. And using our bone folder, we're going to burnish the edges of this card. Just like that. So we can have it stay nice and flat. Now, we're going to open this up. And as you can see, I already put the glue dots on here, but they're on the front of this layering piece. And the reason is because this is going to show through, but we're going to adhere it to the inside. Let me grab take your pick tool, and I'm going to take off the backing of those little mini glue dots here. These are bigger than some of them. You never know what size you're going to get. If you buy the mini glue dots from Stampin' Up! That come in the case, not in the case, in the roll, I should say, These are a little bit bigger than those. So with that, now we've got this piece. We're going to flip it over so it's going to show through. And then we're going to line it up, and you probably cannot see because it's white on white, but I'm going to try and make sure that there's an equal distance all the way around the inside of my card that creates that little edge. I'll lift it up so I can show you. So there's that edge, if you can see that, all the way around my card that's equal distance. And then we're going to flip it over, and there's our stamped image that's peeking through. Super, super cute. Awesome, awesome. Now, we're going to go ahead, and usually we put our sentiment on last. We're not going to put that on last. We're going to put this on actually first. So I've got the glue dots and everything's prepped. So let's take the backings off of this, and we're going to lay our half of a wreath down first. There's lots of layering pieces to this particular card. This card and the one with the wood on it. So this is going to go up at our top, and it's going to go almost opposite the image that we just stamped. So we're going to lay it just like so, so that it kind of encircles that circle a little bit. So very cute. Perfect. Now let's go ahead, and we're going to come in with our sentiment. And I didn't put the glue dots on the back of that because I stamped that. So I'm going to come in and grab a couple glue dots right now. And this piece does not, now if you want to, you could absolutely pop this piece up with some dimensionals if you wanted to. I'm just basically following the directions so you can see how the cards are made in the kit as they were presented. Okay, I'm going to flip that over. We're going to come in here, and we're going to put this sentiment right about there. Just adhere that down a little bit. That's a little higher than on my original card, and I think I like that that's peeking through just a little bit more. Now let's go ahead and come in. We're going to use this piece as our leaves. Got the glue dots on the back. We're going to take this off, and we're going to take this off on each end here. And I'm going to try something that I didn't do the first time. This in your instructions looks like it's put down first and then the other parts, which is fine. That's what we do want to do. But we want to, we're going to push the middle part down, but these edges where I have the other glue dots, I'm not going to push those down right now because I'm going to come in with my wood piece with my Stampin' Dimensionals, and that's going to go behind there. So I'm going to come in with this and lift this up and scooch that right in there, about right like so. And then I could give that a little press because that glue dot is right there, and that'll hold that down. And in fact, if you didn't want to put the glue dots on either of these sides, you don't have to. It's not going anywhere. It's going to be totally fine. And again, the dimensionals on the back of this, taking the backing off, and we're going to come in and we're going to slide this cute little pumpkin. Oh, I've got pumpkin. What are we talking about? Pumpkin. It's a mushroom. I guess it's because it's getting pumpkin season. We're going to send that right there. Let's get this. Pick that out there. There. Just like so. And then our finishing touch right here is our little snail. Little cute little snail. Do I have all the backs off of those? And come in here with this. And we're going to put him right about here. Just in the middle. Just like that. And there we go, friends. There's our card. Super, super cute. Great little card to give to someone. For any occasion, really. It could be a birthday or just because you're thinking of them. Super cute. Let's move on to the next one. All right, like I said, I've prepped this already most of the way. We're going to do a little stamping on the card. So we have our leaves, and I stamped our sentiment. So we're going to go ahead and fold this over and then burnish it with our bone folder. So we make it nice and flat to work with. And I guess I didn't have to necessarily do that first, because I'm going to unfold it because I'm going to stamp on it. So what we're going to do, I'm going to bring this one back in one more time. We're going to go ahead and stamp this twig image onto this card. And I thought that I would show you that because if you're following the directions, it's kind of hard to see where to do that. And as you're looking at the card, they just kind of peek out. You can see them, but it's just a little detail that if you weren't really paying attention, you might miss it. So we're going to come in here and we're going to put one stamped image right here. Plus, I like to show you the stamped images also, besides just what it's like to stamp a sentiment. We stamp sentiments all the time, so it's kind of fun sometimes to just like stamp the images. All right, let's get that inked up. Perfect. And come in and we're going to stamp it one more time. Can you? Okay. All right. You can kind of see. I'll hold it up when I'm done. And then we're going to come in right about here, or over here, excuse me. We're going to come in right about here and we're going to stamp that about like so. And there we go. So we have our two stamped images right here and right here. Now, a lot of that's going to get covered up. But I just wanted to show you what it's like when you stamp those on there. So let's go ahead and bring in our bone folder again. And I'm just going to crease that so that it's fairly flat. We're going to put the lid on this and move it because, especially because I'm wearing white, do not want to get that on my shirt. Now, again, usually we put the sentiment on last. Well, we're putting it on first now. I'm going to take the backing off the glue dots. This is already prepped. So we're going to go ahead and do that real quick here. Take those off and then come in and, well, maybe. The backings always seem to not want to cooperate when I'm trying to show people things. So let's go ahead and bring this in. And we're going to place this right about here. This looks like a good spot. It's right there. Now, to give this card some dimension, we're going to come in with our leaves, the blue one. I've already got my dimensionals on it. I'm going to take the backings off of those. For some reason, the backing on the little ones seem to fight me a little bit coming off versus the bigger ones. I'm not quite sure why. And then we're going to lay that right about here so that it kind of comes over the sentiment a little bit, not too much. So we give that a little interest. And then on this one, if you can see, I'm going to hold this up. I cut that glue dot or that dimensional in half because it fits just right there. So don't be afraid to cut the little tiny dimensionals. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. So we're going to come in with this one and put this little leaf, this little guy right there, just like that. And that's our next card. Thinking of you. Super, super cute. Lovely card. Super fun and easy. That one was really super easy to make. And it's a great card. Again, for multiple reasons you could, or for multiple occasions you could give that card. All right, so let's bring in our last one. We've got some parts and pieces here. Our sentiment, our banner, our leaves, and the card base. Now I'm going to move these aside for a second, and I want to show you. This was I already stamped the images on this. So there's a twig image going this way and one going that way. So I did that ahead of time. Again, you can put these wherever you want, however you want. That's basically how I did it. Now, on this card, we're going to start, the sentiment's going to actually go on last like we normally do. This card, we're going to start with our leaves. And again, these have all been prepped. We've got the little mini glue dots on them. I'm going to take the backings off. Maybe that's what I need to do, is just hold them up so I don't have to pick them up off the table all the time. And this one is going to go in here. And we're going to layer him right like so, right about like that. And then we're going to come in with our next one. This is our gold leaf with some red on it. Kind of matches that one a little bit. And take the backing off of that one. And this one, just like so. You don't need many glue dots on these. And we're going to layer him about right, let's layer him right there, just like that. They can cross. A lot of this is going to be covered up with your sentiment, so don't worry about that at all. Go ahead and take this off, like that. Pop those babies off, and then we're going to come in with this one right about like that. I want him up just a little bit higher. Right like that. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, now let's go ahead and do our little gold leaf. I'm going to put this down though to do that because it's a little bit more intricate die cut and I don't want to tear it or bend it. So we're going to take those off. Pick that up. Maybe. All right. And bring him in here. And he's going to go right here on that leaf. Just like so. And then our foil, we've got to pop our foil up, our copper foil. Super cute. So we've got a mini glue dot and a mini glue dot, or not a glue dot, dimensional. Sorry. We're going to take the backing off of those, intermix my words, and we're going to pop this guy on here like so, like that. Perfect. Now, this part of this is all going to get hidden with our sentiment. I'm going to show you here. I already stamped the sentiment, and on the back of it, I put the glue dots, and I already put my little Stampin' Dimensionals on there. See that? Because we're going to adhere this panel to that. We're going to have our little banner. So I'm going to take these off, and then we're going to add some Stampin' Dimensionals to that layering piece, that banner piece. Off of there. Get off of there. There we go. Finally. All right. So what I did when I did this the other day is I picked this up, and hopefully you can see. So I want this over here peeking out of the sentiment. And so I just basically eyeballed it and then just adhered it down. Just pressed it, made sure it was fairly straight on the back. That looks pretty straight to me. That's pretty good. Let's move this part up maybe just a little bit. And there we have our banner. And then on the back of this, we're going to go ahead and put 3 more dimensionals to pop that whole layer up. So that's pretty easy. Pretty easy to do. These are super fun cards, great for any occasion. They are fall themed, but I think they would be great for anyone, not necessarily have to be for fall. I think, yeah, got that off of there. Okay, and then the final part of this card here is we're going to come in and we're going to put that. Let's see, let's put that. Oh, I kind of try to want to make sure that I don't put dimensional on dimensional. So we don't want to do that. And that looks pretty good. Well, that looks a little wonky over there. Let's straighten that out. There. That looks better. There we go. And there we have it, friends. The last card with thanks. Super cute. I love the foil, and the foil in the card bases and the matching envelopes are awesome. So with that, I'm just going to bring all 3 of these back in. And there we have it. That is the Autumn Abundance Paper Pumpkin. Really cute. If you don't subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, you absolutely should. If you're a new subscriber in October, you can subscribe and your kit would be 40% off for the first month. So take that into consideration. I will put that link to sign up for Paper Pumpkin in the comments because I think these are great kits. You can sign up for once a month or you could sign up for multiple months, 3, 6, 9, I think it's 3, 6, 9, or 12. So with that, let's go ahead and turn this camera around and we're going to finish up for tonight. All right, there we go. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, friends. I just had my workshop last weekend and we had a great time. There was only 4 of us, or 4 participants, but they had a great time. And I have my next one also already scheduled. The registration will open October 1st, but the workshop is November 2nd at Mazivo Coffee. And I'll put a little blurb in the comments about that it's going to be opening for registration October 1st, or October 1st for November 2nd. So I already have an idea of what I'm going to do. We're going to make 5 cards. They're awesome, and I can't wait. So with that, thank you again for tuning in. Share this with your friends, family. I always appreciate you tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see you next week. Bye.